Good afternoon, everyone. While the slide change is going to come, probably that was, it was very exciting to hear Mr. Balaji Kannan relate chapati and sustainability. That was very wonderful. Probably it would have triggered the hunger in everyone. But I would like to bring up the debate what Niranjan brought about on the tagline on QuPID, while he elaborated why or what was the background, and Manish was talking about it. I'm very curious about the small line that is written below that, for the love of manufacturing. And I completely resonate with that because I love manufacturing and I've spent my 22 years in the field of manufacturing so far. So, and by the way, sir, I'm a mechanical engineer and I've spent my whole 22 years in the shop floor, and I love being in the shop floor. Ever after completing my engineering, I have been spending my 22 years privileged to be in various automotive assembly lines, the way manufacturing happens in the Japanese customers or in the Western customer or the Indian customers. So I will present the transformation that I have gone through in this 22 years in this story of 10 minutes before your hunger starts to gather. I think this word, sustainability, can be represented in many forms, in so many graphical forms, so many different, analytical way. But the simplest or the loud way that I would like to present in this forum is to write it in the cloud form boldly. And you see the surrounding words are the ones that are contributing to sustainability. And that keeps on changing. Like, for example, electric vehicles, automation, as the panelists have talked about in the morning. So plenty of these things are really bustling around in the industry today. And my story, as I said, has been on the automotive assembly line. I'm not going to talk about so many, trends and technologies, what goes into making an automobile, but a very simple way of how I look at automobile. Automobile is made of many things, but gentlemen, these are also made with rivets, adhesives which are there inside, fasteners which are there, and also floor drills which are there. And the story I'm going to touch upon is on a very smallest piece of element in an automobile, but very important, is on the bolt. And my journey 22 years before rather, was carrying this product in the hand and giving it to an operator and making his life easy when he's just going to tighten this bolt. By the click sound, I still remember the sound of how this tool works. A complete mechanical pneumatic tool. I was not having any gadgets in my hand. There was no digital. You can see there is nothing digital showing what is going on here. It was just a simple sound that came out of the tool, made sure that the joint is finished. And he felt very happy, smiling, saying the joint is completed and the job is over. So that sound made the life complete. Most important, there is no data at this time. But life was not really the same what it was 20 years before. As I think Mr. Sudhir Mishra was talking about in the Stellantis side, how car assemblies has become today. It's so complex that there is not one variant that a manufacturer is going to make. Even for that matter, electric vehicles are made in the same powertrain. There are left-hand drives, right-hand drives, there is alloy wheels, there is steel wheels. So there is multiple variants which are going to be made. That puts a challenge, and that poor pneumatic tool cannot sustain this challenge. So the complexity is not just only in the variants. We cannot afford to have many assembly lines. Everything has to be made in the same assembly line. That's really the biggest challenge. It's not just the color of the car. Even an EV vehicle has to be made in the same line as a gasoline vehicle. So imagine the amount of challenges that you're going to go through. So this pneumatic tool has to be more and more, which is not sustainable. I mean, sustainability is not a word that we are talking about today, but it was also being handled 20 years before without being coined in the way of sustainability. So the pneumatic tool has to be more and more for different types of joints. But the solution, gentlemen, is today the smart electric tool, which has come into place and it is up and running today. You can see the amount of technological advancements that we have gone through. But what does this tool do then? When we tighten this tool, there is absolutely no noise. The number one, peace of mind. There are plenty of other advantages, but the operator gets a peace of mind. And he gets, most important is a process feedback, what is needed. Because when we have to have multiple joints, multiple variants that has to be there, you need to know whether you're doing the right job. And this tool, because it is equipped with many digital sensors that are there, it can analyze the joint, how it works. So we can plot the simple bolted joint, which just was satisfied with the noise in the graphical form, and data that can be taken away, like in the form of a torque or an angle. And when we are monitoring them, then we can also classify them by saying, yes, this is okay and this is not okay, with the feedback that we have. Now you can imagine that we have converted a mechanical tool to an electrical tool with the sensors, with the data that was coming into it. That is now what's solving the complexity. So this is the beautiful transformation that has gone through in this last 20 years. As much as possible, that critical joint, the way in which we all drive our cars safely is because our wheel assemblies are tightened safely. And they have been treated in the utmost respect with automation coming into place. So those 4 bolts in a sedan car or 5 bolts in the SUV car is getting into transformed to a high level of automation in this way. When I say automation, you might think probably that it is the same job that we are doing and that is where automation is there. But assembly lines of a SUV, assembly line of a sedan is in the same line today. So this piece of automation can tighten 4 or 5 together in the same line. And then comes the important element, which I have never thought that this will sweep away so much, is the data. All these pieces of equipment are now emitting data. And that is really the soft power of the journey that we have gone through today. And so much so that these are not just going into servers, these are also sitting in the cloud. So cloud 20 years before and 20 years after is different. I have a piece of equipment in my pocket which can show this notifications of data today as well. Right? And there are lots and lots of software companies who can collect this data from us and present a very big ERP system into taking this. But what we also are trying to do is we are creating a software suite for our own gamut of solutions, because we have the domain knowledge of what equipment is there. So we are trying to simplify the role of an ERP solution provider or the customer in giving a suite which is suited for our own solutions in the form of station management that you can do. If you have 100+ tools, a complete asset management can be done, error proofing, quality management pertaining to our solutions. So this small piece of pneumatic tool and the hand tools have manifested into solutions that can go into a smart factory engulfed with the data. I can say I was quoting this slide in a forum, and a gentleman, when we were interacting, we said 20 years before AI was what? Air India. And today it is artificial intelligence. That has been the journey towards going into giving solutions for the smart factory. But is this enough? Where are we standing today? The puzzle that we are going to solve. Automotive industry, assembly line, powertrain, gasoline engines, this has been our life. What are we entering today is in the electric vehicle, and that's going to grow. Whether we debate on why electric, not electric, that's a different subject. I guess this is going to grow. Because for 1 year, I've been participating in many, many forums. There has been always discussions on very good arguments on why not electric, very good arguments on why electric. So this, we'll not get into that because we are very hungry. Let's but then get into the puzzle that which is there. I see a lot of question marks. How many rivets are going to be there? How many fasteners are going to be there? How many bolts are going to be there? No idea till yet. It's just a journey that has begun. But I would like to show this, in the trend, but we'll also see what is the trend showing today. The trend is showing that 2034, this was last year, 2034, globally, we are going to see about 54% of EV. This is what it is showing. Now, I am not going to vouch on this is going to happen or not, but as on today, if you Google out what is the projection for this year, it's 14 million EVs are going to be there in this year. India, McKinsey is saying that 75% on two-wheelers, 100% on three-wheelers, probably 15% on four-wheelers. But again, this number is something that, is something not in our hands. But the transformation is going on here. So we need to be now more serious on this topic. By being serious, when I say here, I will put one more perspective. I showed the batteries. So batteries today are, I think, we are talking about gigawatt hours. What is going to be needed for batteries? Theoretically, if you have to have 50%, let's say, EV going about in 2030, it needs 290 odd battery plants in the world. So that's a massive amount of production that's needed. Millions and millions of battery packs are supposed to be made. Whereas we are in the beginning, and rest of the world you see is a small pie where we are there actually. But we need to be prepared. As the panelists have inspired us, in terms of being a manufacturing element. So we have to be prepared for this wave that's going to engulf us. And I don't want to go into this where huge amount of challenges are there. The list is very small, what I'm writing here. But the key area, I think, is to focus on the innovation part. So the journey we begin should be on the innovation. Because you see here, the battery, the cars, if I have to see here, you see the cars are evolving in the last 3 years. I would say the battery pack fitment, I think we started by retrofitting gasoline to electric. Now a pure electric vehicles where it was a battery to module pack, what you see here, then the modules got eliminated, the cells are directly going into the car. Now the car itself is made as a body to house the cells. And I think this is going to keep on evolving and evolving and evolving. So one joint solution that we give is not going to be the same thing that I can give the next 2 years. It's going to change. So the journey then here begins in our innovation centers. And that's what I'm trying to sensitize everyone that, we should work much, much, much earlier in this area than, getting into manufacturing here. The journey has to begin in innovation centers. And lot of work is going on in trying to find out how and what is the right solution that can go into making a battery pack. And the steps. Today, I'm showing the steps. I'm not saying that this is a blueprint of how battery pack is going to be. But the steps that, we have understood and we have analyzed and some of the solutions that we have developed, I'm presenting over here. Like the fire protection device, what is needed, or the safety of the operator. He has to touch high voltages, like 1000 volts are supposed to be touched. So the developments has happened on the insulation covers, which are tested for IEA standards. Or the tightening solutions that we have been delivering is combined today with the vision solutions. In a module assembly like what you see in the left, we are detecting foreign parts which are there in the battery pack. Because if we allow a small foreign particle to go into a battery pack, it's going to be a catastrophic effect. It will happen in the long term. You cannot detect an error in a battery pack in the end. It's then, we are late. Or to calculate how is the exact amount of adhesives that we have to deploy into the thermal gap filler application, which is again protecting the heat. So more and more of such applications that, we are working on in this field. So my key message is that Atlas Copco, as you all probably will be knowing in many forms, is not just only making that. We are into making vision systems. We are also into dispensing now. We are also into floor drill. So we are manifesting us in a different way, gentlemen. That's my one message. And I'm very, very, very proud to say that in 2023, this year, we are celebrating our 150 years of existence. 150 years is not something that every company can be proud of. While I'm saying that we are very proud of this achievement, we also, with humility and humbleness, state we are in a mindset, as you see the tsunami going to come, we are in the mindset of being a startup. I'm just putting a small stall here and saying that, yes, we have more things. I'm not saying we have so much things that, we can give you a lot. And it also coincides, I'm very, very, very excited to also announce this 2 days before announcement, where our tagline got changed. It was home of industrial ideas. We said we are a home of industrial ideas, please come to us. But we are now coining us as technology that transforms the future. So that's really, really very, very apt for our occasion today. And I'm very inspired to see the resonation of thoughts from the panelists and the questions that has come here. And that's my final slide. Thank you.